Two good football teams and probably the most important week zero game we have seen in quite some time. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by for instant analysis of what could be a game that we see again in December in the Big 12. Kansas State, Iowa State, the Cyclones take it 24-21 in Dublin, Ireland. They ran out the clock at the 1 yard line, and they were clearly the better team in the fourth quarter. Let's get to the importance of this game and the way it broke down with a critical decision made by Kansas State head coach Chris Klieman with 8 minutes left in the ball game. Keep in mind that at least my Rolodex on my shoulders has told me that there's only one team that has lost a week 0 or week 1 game and reached the BCS championship game or the college football playoff. That goes all the way back to 1998. One team has lost a week 0 or week 1 game and made it. So not a good harbinger of things to come necessarily for Kansas State. All right, the K-State defense looked really good early in the football game. Iowa State a bit sloppy as well to contribute to that. First 13 plays for the Cyclones, 9 yards. Rocco Becht missed a couple throws. The receivers on both sides of the ball. Well, I'll say on the Kansas State side, I was not impressed with the wide receiver play. Dropped passes that they did not adjust to make catches that weren't the best throws all the time. First big mistake in this one turned out not to cost the team, except for K-State could be missing one of its best players. Dylan Edwards, of course, the backup running back to DJ Giddens last season, and we saw Edwards explode on Rutgers in the bowl game for 196 yards rushing. He, of course, of the Colorado transfer, muffed a punt after K-State's defense had a brilliant drive in which they had a tackle for loss and a sack. Edwards muffs the punt. Iowa State had first and goal, and they were all set up, especially after a Kansas State pass interference call. But Rocco Becht made a horrible pitch on a second and goal from the half-yard line. So 2 mistakes, and we're dead even with no score. 3rd and 7, Jace Brown with a dropped pass. Kansas State's best receiver did not impress me on this day. Made no difficult catches. Dropped some easy throws. He did account for 4 catches, 78 yards, and a big touchdown later in the ball game, but not necessarily, again, the best pass, nor were the K-State wide receivers helping out Avery Johnson. Iowa State's Dominic Overby with a 23-yard touchdown reception from Becht. He beat Wesley Fair to the back of the end zone, 7-0, our first score of the 2025 college football season. Avery Johnson with a touchdown run, 7-7, and with Dylan Edwards out, that put more of the responsibility of rushing the football on Joe Jackson, who had 227 yards on only 39 carries last year, was expected to be the 1-2 combo with Edwards, so he expected more carries this year. He got 12 today for 51 yards, but it was also Avery Johnson. Don't know what the sack yardage was against Avery Johnson. 8 carries for 21 yards. He scored the first touchdown for K-State. 7 all at the break. We go to the second half. Ike Ogu, defensive lineman for Iowa State, had 2 key pass breakups in timing the quarterback, jumping for the football, knocking it down to prevent first down throws. So 2 batted balls there on the Iowa State side. On the Kansas State side, by early third quarter, Kansas State already had 4 sacks, making life difficult on Rocco Becht. But from the third quarter, let's say about halfway through the quarter on to the end of the game, the Iowa State offensive line really figured some things out and came into their own, both in pass pro, but also, most of all, rushing the football. Carson Hansen was the guy early in the football game with 7 carries for Iowa State. Then he was absent for much of the second quarter. Abu Samu, as Iowa State boasts one of the best combos in college football. He took over, but it was Carson Hansen in the second half. 13 touchdowns for him last year, and Matt Campbell actually says he's going to have a breakout year this year after 13 touchdowns last year. He and the offensive line, the main reason why Iowa State tucked this game away in the second half. Avery Johnson was in the flow with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, moved the Wildcats down to the Iowa State 33-yard line, but Jerand Bradley dropped a throw on 4th and 8. That was huge. Becht comes back with a keeper with Iowa State marching down the field on an option play on 4th and 1, juked the linebacker to pick up the first down. Then it was Becht to Brett Eckelson as the Iowa State receivers in key situations torched, and in this case, froze Donovan McIntosh, who had a nice day with 8 tackles and 2 passes defense. But on this play, Eccleston got the best of him down the sideline in the end zone past the pylon, and Iowa State took a 14-7 lead. Jace Brown this time isolated on a safety. Caden Cock burned him by. That was an easy touchdown for Kansas State. And for what was a defensive-minded game for the entire first half, turned out to be a big play explosion by both passing attacks in the third quarter. 14 all at this point. So again, we talk about McIntosh having a solid game with 8 tackles and 2 passes defense, but burned by Eccleston. Also, he dropped an interception that was right in his breadbasket. Would have been huge for Kansas State because Iowa State kept the football. Okay, let's move it to the fourth quarter. 8 minutes left in the ball game. Kansas State's down by a field goal, 17-14. They've got a 4th and 1 at their own 32. What do? If you punt, you're down 3. You've given up the football. Even if you get the 3 and out, or maybe give up a couple first downs, you're going to be pinned back down in your own end with maybe 3 or 4 minutes left to play, down by a field goal. That's if you get the stop. Chris Klieman made the call, and he's being criticized for it, rightfully so to a certain extent. If you make the call, even if it's a reasonable call, and it doesn't work out, then you're the head coach. The buck stops with you, and Chris Klieman made the incorrect decision because Avery Johnson didn't pick up the first down on a quarterback sweep to the left. Don't know if that was the best call to make on 4th and a half yard, 4th and 1. He got close to the first down marker, but based on everything that we could tell, and you would think the technology in college and professional football would be better than this. With all the technology we have and all the advancements, that there could be some type of chip put in the football or something that would tell you exactly where the ball is placed on the field, and we could determine these, but that is not the case. And the common comment that is made by the broadcasters is, if only we had a shot right down the line and we would know exactly where the football is, but that wasn't the case. And Avery Johnson, I believe that the officials made the right call. It was reviewed, and he was short. All right, that pretty much did in the game for Kansas State. Of course, they could have held Iowa State to a field goal, stayed within a touchdown, but that did not happen. Back to Benjamin Bramer, down the seam. Beck scores the touchdown on the next play, 24-14 at that point. Then Jerand Bradley got behind the defense for a 65-yard touchdown. That's exactly what Kansas State needed. Down with 4 minutes left to play by 2 scores. Bradley burns the secondary. The safety there, number 20, Kajan Cummings Coleman, should have played the deep receiver and stayed back. He jumped on the under route of the inside slot receiver. He got burned, and 24-21, we still had a ball game. But Iowa State and the offense, that again, the running game was contained by Kansas State early in the game, and Chris Klieman made a comment at halftime, hey, Becht is hurting us, but we're containing the Iowa State ground attack by the running backs. Didn't hold, though, because, again, Carson Hansen and the offensive line kicked it into gear in the second half. He had a big, big day. You see the stats right there. And Kansas State couldn't get off the field when they needed to. And on a big 4th and 3 play, here, another situation. 24-21, Iowa State's got the football in the red zone, 4th and 3. They bypassed the field goal. They had missed one earlier. And if they didn't get this, we could say Matt Campbell made the wrong move. If they don't complete the pass in the flat to Hansen on the 4th and 3 play, Kansas State takes over about their own 25-yard line, down 3 with a couple minutes left to play, and we could say, well, Matt Campbell blew the game. So take it easy on Chris Klieman. He made a similar call and, in a sense, made a more logical call, down by 3, needing to keep the football and score. Campbell did not need to score, but they go for the win, and they pull off the swing pass perfectly, throw it over the defensive end to Hansen, who dives for the end zone. Looked like he might have scored a touchdown. He did not. Matt Campbell chose to make the percentage move and not just score the touchdown, the easy touchdown that would most likely ice the game, but what definitely iced the game was taking 3 knees inside the 1-yard line, and Iowa State wins a big game over Kansas State, 24-21. And the answer to your Aflac trivia question, they should give me a sponsorship for calling them out there. Nobody's ever heard of this place. Anyway, your trivia question here at the Voice of College Football. The only team, and this is based on the Mark Rogers TV, the Rolodex on the shoulders, so I might have slipped up and missed somebody, but I went 1998 all the way to today. The only team that I can find to reach the BCS championship game or the college football playoff that lost in week 0 or won. Clemson last year in 2024 lost to Georgia and still reached the CFP by winning the ACC. Ironic that Kansas State follows up this game with a game 2 against North Dakota. Iowa State plays South Dakota. And already a loss for Kansas State. Not a good situation to be in. They're in a hole in terms of the Big 12 championship race. But you could see a 6-3 team out of the Big 12 make the championship game. Your thoughts and comments down below. Please share the video, like and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Keep in mind that we are live with you every night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time or post-game right here at the Voice of College Football through the National Championship game.